any time, though, her mum said. Besides, there was no way Rafferty would let his teenage daughter travel all that way by herself on a train, and neither would I. Fair enough. Summer glanced at the clock on the wall beside the door. I hope they're here soon. I'm starting my shift downstairs in 40 minutes. Are you up to it, love? Her mother's eyes crinkled with sympathy. You've already had a long day at the sanctuary. I can get cover for you if you need it, you know. You only have to ask. Mum, we've had this conversation. You work just as many hours as I do. But it's physical labour at Whispering Willows, her mother pointed out for the 1000th time. So is working in a pub. Anyway, you wouldn't offer to cover Chloe's or Nick's shifts if they were working part-time in a horse sanctuary, would you? Her mum looked sheepish. I suppose not. Well then, if it's good enough for your other bar staff, it's good enough for me. Shall I put this towel in the washing machine? Her mum nodded. You might as well. I'll put a load on this evening when we're all settled. Oh, I hope Frankie likes her room. I put fresh flowers in there for her, and it's a nice view of the green. Were you this worried when I came to stay at Christmas? Summer asked, amused. Mum gave her an embarrassed look. Probably worse. Blimey, poor Rafferty. He must have the patience of a saint. He does. Why else would he ask me to marry him? Summer put her arms around her, and her mum held her tightly despite the wet hair. He's lucky to have you, and he knows it. And if it's any consolation, I can't wait for the wedding. It's going to be amazing. Her mum deserved the very best after all. She'd had her heart broken so many times by Summer's cheating dad, and yet, somehow, she'd still found it in herself to put her trust in Rafferty. Not that Rafferty was anything like Summer's dad, but even so. Summer thought her mum was brave to have faith in another man. She wasn't sure she could be so courageous. As she pulled away, she saw tears in her mother's eyes, but at least she was smiling. It is, isn't it? And isn't it brilliant that Zach agreed to marry us in church even though we're both divorced? The perks of being mates with a vicar. Summer shoved the towel in the empty washing machine and slammed the door shut just as her mum called, I think they're here. She straightened and tucked her still damp hair behind her ears before following her mum through to the hallway. They heard footsteps on the stairs and the sound of a suitcase being bumped up each step. Summer gave Sally a sympathetic look. Deep breaths, Mum. This is Frankie, remember? Everything will be fine. Frankie, Summer thought, was like a different girl. It was rather disconcerting to see her sitting on the sofa, sipping Diet Coke through a straw between bursts of conversation, which covered just about everything that had happened to her over the last year. It was as if she'd forgotten they'd spoken at all since the last time she'd stayed in Tuppenny Bridge, and all her news was pouring forth in a torrent. Rafferty and Mum barely got a word in edgeways as Frankie chatted about her school. I'm going to be in year 10 in September, can you believe it? And they still won't let us drop maths. About her amazing friend Phoebe. I really wanted her to come with me, but her parents have dragged them all to Ireland to stay with her granny for the summer. Phoebe's outraged. And about her home life. You should see Mum trying to be nice to Bingo. It nearly kills her, but she daren't say anything. You know what she's like about dog hair, and Bingo is such a hairy dog. It's hilarious. Summer risked a look at her mother, and as she'd suspected, Sally looked dazed. Even Rafferty seemed bewildered about who this child was, and he'd had a 5-hour journey from Hawksbridge to get used to her. She wondered how he'd reacted when he'd seen his daughter. Frankie didn't look anything like the young girl Summer had last met in person. Then she'd been a thin, freckle-faced child with strawberry blonde hair that she usually wore in a ponytail. Well, she'd certainly filled out since then, with curves in all the right places, her freckles buried under layers of foundation. The strawberry blonde ponytail had been replaced by blue space buns. Not only that, but she'd had her nose pierced and was now sporting a gold stud. Summer couldn't imagine how Rafferty had coped with such a huge change. Your hair looks, lovely, Mum said, giving Rafferty a sideways glance. Clearly she'd been wondering the same thing. What a gorgeous shade of blue. Do you think so? Frankie beamed and patted one.